Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
I do believe when I look at the US men's national team, there should be greater progression because there are some wonderful players. I just believe when you look at, and the only comparison that I have is the country that I came from. In England, football is the be-all and end-all. Football is not the be-all and end-all over here, and I understand that fully. But I still think there are ways to go, which can enable the growth of sport in this country.
What up, everybody? It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. I think a fun show today. Dan Wetzel, ESPN. He's always fun to talk with.
Yep.
It's Chip Patterson Wednesday.
I was going to say, it's a Wednesday.
We are into our talking season in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Big 12 Media Day going on. They're trying to bury the hatchet between Texas Tech and the rest of the conference. Everybody hates Texas Tech.
Yep.
They're having meetings like off-site with Cody Campbell and Brett Yormark. Who's the real commissioner there? ACC is next week. I believe the Big Ten is also next week, I think.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure who goes next week other than the ACC. And Richard Deitsch, who is a well-known media reporter. Used to be with Sports Illustrated and The Athletic. He does the Sports Media Podcast, and we're going to talk about a number of things regarding sports and media, including how this World Cup has been covered, which I believe has been done I think Fox has done a great job with it. I don't get the schedule all over the place. Like we had on Monday, we had the first match of the day. Forget which match it was, doesn't really matter. That was it Norway, Brazil? Whatever. No, that was Sunday. But the first match was at 4. U.S. match was at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, first match was at noon.
Yeah.
Second match was at 4. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why?
It's not even consistently inconsistent.
Come on.
It's just
What? Like during the week?
Yeah.
Like, give people a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
9 o'clock match on the West Coast for who was the first match? Was that Argentina-Egypt was the first match? Yes,
so.
Argentina-Egypt.
Sounds right.
Oh boy. Oh, that was interesting. Happened in real time here. And honestly, Egypt, I think, is justifiably mad.
Yeah, that's the one where they tied it up close towards the end, and then Argentina won.
No, I mean, it was 2-0 Egypt with 12 minutes remaining in regular time. And they scored the third goal to make it 3-2 in the second minute of stoppage time. It literally took, I think it was 13 minutes to go from 2-0 down to a 3-2 lead.
It's fast.
Right. Incredibly fast. By the way, our guy Evan Cohen, I know we're trying to get Evan on the program. Evan was ticked off because Tom Brady, remember this match yesterday was played in Atlanta, site of the Patriots comeback from 28-3 down in the Super Bowl. And Brady himself tweeted out about the best comeback in Atlanta. And not about the football game.
Right.
That this would be better than that. Evan didn't take to that.
Oh, no.
Evan, like, I saw a rant of Evan pushing back against his quarterback.
I know.
The GOAT.
What a conflicting spot for Evan to be in.
It was very difficult. Had to be very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a muscle pull of some sort.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really processed it all that much. And I know Evan's point was this was round of 16 versus the Super Bowl. So I understand that argument, and I'm not really debating it. But I do think that a comeback in football and a comeback that we saw in the Argentina-Egypt World Cup match, how often does anybody, against anybody, how often does somebody score 3 times in soccer in 13 minutes?
And I mean, I'm not a
right.
like soccer person,
and I'm
and
not
that's
even
a lot.
that either. I'm not even that either.
That's a lot.
It is like it might be the fastest 3 goals in World Cup history. I don't know.
Could be.
Right? I'm not taking anything away from the Patriots' comeback against the Falcons, and I'm not even criticizing Egypt. Although there were a fair amount of Egypt, you kind of asked for that.
Mm-hmm.
Goalkeeping, which was great all game, wasn't good for the first 2 goals. I could argue that they both should have been saved. The 2 goals that Argentina scored, including Messi's goal to make it 2-2, probably should have been stopped. I'm not saying it would have been an easy save. I'm not saying I would have made it. But even at that level, those guys are all capable of making saves like that. And he just didn't. He had played really well all match. And when Egypt needed their goalkeeper to buy them, a few more minutes and apply even more pressure to Argentina, he couldn't do it. And then the 3-2 goal was an absolute breakdown. But I would also say this for people who watched the match or who have read about it or seen highlights. I think Egypt is justifiably in their feels for being hard done.
Mm-hmm.
The goal that they scored that was called back should not have been called back. Yes, I know there are fouls in the buildup. They are so minor. They have been letting that go all tournament long. And they decided after going to the monitor, we should probably not allow that goal. Now, with that said, Egypt still scored the next goal to make it 2-0. So it's hard to say that Egypt lost because that second goal was called back, because they probably don't score the third goal. So it's still 2-0, and we have all this time remaining. So I don't think Egypt lost the game because that goal was called back. But if you're going to call that back, then a very similar foul in the box committed by Argentina on Egypt not only disallowed what would have been a penalty in favor of Egypt in a 2-2 match to put most likely Mo Salah on the spot with a chance to give Egypt the lead into added time. But that sequence led to Argentina's 3-2 goal. So what are we doing? Right? So there are a lot of people claiming that FIFA is doing what they can to make sure that Lionel Messi and Argentina advance. I don't live in a world of conspiracies. I do not. Because I don't think referees operate that way. There's a lot of people that got to be really quiet to pull these things off. And whenever we talk about conspiracies, we never seem to acknowledge that. So I just think that, as Steve Logan once said to me in this studio, the referees know who's supposed to win. And that's not nefarious. It's all it is, yep, benefit of the doubt, probably going to the favored team. Whether it was Michael Jordan in the day getting calls, or LeBron James getting calls, or whichever team that you feel like always wins, yep, they always get the calls.
Yeah, that really shouldn't surprise anyone either.
Nobody.
Mm-mm.
Nobody. Lionel Messi and Argentina have definitely been the beneficiary of a friendly whistle or a video review just overlooked. Messi could have gotten a red card in Argentina's first match very easily. There was a difference, actually. What Messi did was way worse than what Flo Balogun did to get a red card. Messi was trying to get the ball back when he stepped on the back of a player's leg. I mean, that's a red if Balogun's is a red. But they didn't even review that. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Dan Wetzel, Chip Patterson, Richard Deitsch, let's play.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
But we're not even starting with that. We're going to start with the Carolina Hurricanes. So I was listening to Elliot Friedman and Kyle Bukowskis on the 32 Thoughts, the podcast. By the way, if you want to make an investment, their season-ending podcast is over 4 hours long.
Oh, wow. That is an event.
4 hours?
Wow.
Where am I driving that I will be in the car for that long? I can't, right now, nowhere.
Sometimes just my drive home feels like that.
Well, it depends. There have been days.
Oh, yeah, if I were going to my dentist and hair appointment,
There you
I
go.
I could do the whole thing.
The whole thing. 4 hours. I think it's 4:17. That is just insane. So about 40 minutes in is when they get to the Hurricanes. There's about 8 or so minutes on Carolina because they touch on every team, and there are 32 teams in the National Hockey League. So the overall thrust is the Hurricanes, according to what he hears from what Elliot Friedman hears, are sniffing around in the offer sheet business. Okay. Now, for those people who might not know, an offer sheet can be given to qualifying restricted free agent players who otherwise have not agreed to a contract with their current team, or for those who are eligible for arbitration have not yet filed. Once you file for arbitration, offer sheets are off the table. So there have been several, restricted free agents across the NHL who have filed for salary arbitration. The Hurricanes have a minor leaguer who has done that, Ronan Seeley. So nobody could offer sheet him for whatever that's worth. But anyway, the Hurricanes, Sebastian Aho signed an offer sheet with the Montreal Canadiens back in, what was it? 2018? I think it was 2018. Signed the offer sheet. Her 5-year deal, almost $8.5 million a year. Hurricanes matched it. The Hurricanes signed an offer sheet with Jesperi Kotkaniemi. It was a 1-year, $6.1 million contract, and Montreal didn't match. And Carolina was able to get the player and gave up a first-round pick and a third-round pick. Apparently, Carolina threatened offer sheets to Edmonton for Evan Bouchard, the offensive defenseman, and Edmonton realized that was coming, so they signed Bouchard to a long-term contract. The Rangers, Carolina apparently told the Rangers that we're going to offer sheet Keandre Miller. Would you rather work out a trade? And so the Rangers went, sure. I guess they didn't really want Miller. I have no idea. But the Hurricanes and the Rangers worked out a trade for Keandre Miller. So the Hurricanes have been pretty much involved in several of these situations over the last several years. It is a comforting little place for them, I guess. But we're getting into this part of the summer for some restricted free agents, and we just saw we actually had the Rangers. The Devils signed Utah center Barrett Hayton to a 1-year, $4.5 million contract or an offer sheet. I don't believe Utah has matched yet. They may just let him go. And the Flyers signed Anaheim center Leo Carlson, 21 years old. 3 years ago was the second pick in the draft and a future star, to a 5-year, $18 million annual deal. and I have no idea if Anaheim's going to match it or not. It really screws them up financially. It 100% does. I think Anaheim has to decide whether or not to deal with that hardship, and it will be a hardship for them, or take the 4 first-round picks and move on. Even though you would be willingly handing over, a future top 5 to 7 player in the entire sport, it might ultimately hurt you financially enough in the long run where even having that player won't really help you get to where you want to go. Again, I am not smart enough to tell you one way or the other what is the right path for them because I don't know. I don't know their system. I don't know how they're wired. I could tell you what it would do to Carolina if somebody signed. Let's just say because Logan Stankoven was an unrestricted free agent or a restricted free agent going into this year. Had he not signed the contract last year, right? So he signed his contract 1 year before his RFA season. So did Jackson Blake. But coming off of that playoff run, had Logan Stankoven not already been under contract, he would be eligible for another team to sign him to an offer sheet. And what if that team came in at 5 years, $16 million a year? The Hurricanes, more than likely, would have said, man, that was fun, but you got to go. Or they match it, and now you've got a significantly overpriced player. And again, Stankoven is probably not the best example simply because Aho would be the better example because if Montreal really wanted him, then $8.45 million even 7 years ago or whatever it was, 8 years ago, even that wasn't nearly enough to get him. If Montreal really wanted him, that number had to be closer to 11. And that would have been a significant overpay for Sebastian Aho. Heck, 8.5 was a little bit of an overpay, to be perfectly honest. And I've talked to the agent about this. That was more than they really were asking for from Carolina. So Anaheim's in that would have put Carolina in a very tough spot. And if the scenario had played out with Logan Stankoven, that would have put Carolina in a very tough spot. And it's put Anaheim in a tough spot. Now, back to the Hurricanes and other unrestricted free agents. What Elliot Friedman was floating was he had heard that the Hurricanes might be involved in Simon Arvidsson, who is a 6'6", 23-year-old defenseman with the Detroit Red Wings. And I don't know how many people remember the game specifically, but Arvidsson was a very good player in the last time Detroit and Carolina met at Lenovo Center. It was I think that was the game. Might have been the game that they returned back to Detroit, in the same general time frame. But Arvidsson is a very good player, and he's 6'6", but he is left-handed. So my first reaction to hearing about this is, why would you offer sheet a 23-year-old left-shot defenseman who hasn't quite gotten to, anywhere close to what his ceiling might be, when you have your own left-shot defenseman who is in the exact same boat? Why would you do that? And Elliot was talking about signing players to offer sheets, not to keep them, but to move them. And what it would cost to get a Simon Arvidsson, I'm not entirely sure is worth the same as when you turned around to move him. To me, it's probably like it's just balancing the scale. So are you just going to be a disruptor, or are you going to do what you can to make your team better? And this is where I will give the Hurricanes front office credit for they do play chess. in these particular situations. They know what they're doing. So before I would criticize a move like that, what if you signed him to the offer sheet? You had to give up whatever draft picks you have to give up because that's based on salary. And I don't think Simon Arvidsson would be in the neighborhood to have to give up 4 first-round picks. And then you took that and you traded it for pieces that you believed you could use, and then you traded Alexander Nikishin because he would bring you pieces back, even future pieces back. So you could make those 2 moves and I think probably make your team better. But man, that's a lot of moving parts in to that end. But again, this is a Hurricanes front office that has a plan always, has a great track record for executing it properly. Doesn't always work. The Jesperi Kotkaniemi offer sheet did not work. They didn't get a player that they felt that was ahead of the curve at his position. They got a player that they felt would be a number 2 center going forward. He has turned out not to be. And right now, although they still have him, and they will not buy him out, it'll be interesting to see how they approach whatever is next for Jesperi Kotkaniemi the rest of this offseason as we get to the start of next season. My feeling is he will start next year in another organization. But he may spend the summer as a Hurricane. I mean, he'll day with the Cup, the whole thing. He might even report to training camp. I'll do it this way. When Rod Brindamore took over, one of the first orders of business was the Hurricanes trading Jeff Skinner. But they also were trying to trade Justin Falk. As it turned out, they didn't trade Justin Falk. Falk was a very important member of the first playoff run here. And he showed up at training camp the next year, going into the final year of his contract. Showed up at training camp. We had the whole thing. And then, in the middle of training camp, he was traded to St. Louis. Carolina brought back Joel Edmondson as part of that trade and some other things. But ultimately, Falk was traded before the start of the second season. But he spent the entire summer still on the Hurricanes roster. I feel like Jesperi Kotkaniemi is probably going to spend the whole summer on Carolina's roster. And then when teams get to training camp and they recognize what we need, all of that, that's when I believe you'll see something happen with Kotkaniemi. I don't believe he's going to play here. He's barring an injury. He's not going to play over Aho or Stankoven or Stahl or Jankowski because he doesn't fill the roles that Stahl or Jankowski fill. So they would need an injury to somebody for Kotkaniemi to play. And I think that the asset is worth more in a trade, even if you're not bringing back that much. It's still worth more than a trade than just to have him here collecting dust. Because, again, he is not going to play. But I do find the whole thing very funny that Carolina would be in the mix for a left-shot defenseman when they've already got one who's a restricted free agent who is not eligible for an offer sheet. One more thing. Because the Carlson offer sheet of $18 million a year over 5 years, that's significant. There are other players across the league that Carolina or anybody else could target via offer sheet, including Columbus center Adam Fantilli, who was taken one spot behind Carlson in the 23 draft. And his statistics after 2.5 years in the league, almost 3 years in the league, are very similar to Leo Carlson. He is not looked at in the same light as Carlson is in terms of future superstar. But if anybody's been paying attention, Adam Fantilli is a dynamite player. And he's a center. He is not right-handed, so maybe not quite as attractive to go after as a righty would be. But at this point, If you could somehow get Adam Fantilli away from Columbus, think about a 1-2-3 down the middle of Aho, Fantilli, Stankoven, with Stahl sliding to fourth center. All of a sudden, you are really, really strong down the middle, and the Hurricanes could put together an offer sheet that would force Columbus to either swallow a poison pill of a contract or let him walk for draft picks. It would be worth it to an extent. How much? Can't tell you. But it is something to consider. Anyway, let's break Dan Wetzel, ESPN senior writer, on in a lot of different things, including we're going to combine college football and the World Cup, but also why did the U.S. go out in the round of 16? Next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
According to NFL players in the NFL Top 100 voting, Bryce Young is the 98th best player in the league, inside the top 100. Regardless of how this season goes, that's going to look really wrong a year from now. Either it'll go well, they'll pay him $50 million a year, he'll be top 50, or it'll look really, really ridiculous that he was ever in the top 100.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. And one of the things we like to do is remind you that with Miller Lending, we take variables like what market forces there are out of the equation when it comes to getting your mortgage. Because when you're ready to buy a house, sometimes the mortgage rates are a little higher. And it shouldn't matter to you because you should always be able to give yourself the opportunity to get the best rate. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage. Gordon Miller invented it, 1987, brought it to the Triangle in 1996. This is the place to go because you don't pay closing costs, you save yourself thousands, and then 10 months from now, when the rates drop, you refinance free of charge. So we're not even going to talk about rates. This is about freedom. Happy birthday, America. 250 years of American ingenuity, all wrapped up in one no closing cost mortgage. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 250-2146.
Today, we tip our wrench to Rock Auto customer Noah.
My first car was a 2001 Dodge Neon with a blue wing, and it happened to match my high school sweetheart, who's now my wife, her black 2005. So my uncle has been in the industry for well over 25 years. He recommended Rock Auto immediately to buy my first set of brakes. I would recommend Rock Auto just because it's simple, it's easy to find the parts you're looking for, it's all at a good price.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
You could argue that making jewelry by hand is yesterday's way of doing it. You could claim that being particular about custom design and old-world craftsmanship slows down the process. You could call us old-fashioned, and you'd be right. Because the heart and soul of Bailey's is our workshop, where skilled craftsmen create heirlooms meant to last for generations. Come see why we've been voted the best jeweler year after year. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time. We have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. I'm just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's Renter's Insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
This is Adam Gold.
Soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. Everybody's into the World Cup. We can even combine sports, and we're going to try to do that with Dan Wetzel, senior writer, ESPN, who joins us now on the Adam Gold Show. Also, ace podcaster. Sir, I love your podcast. I've told you that before. You always come up with funny stuff. But let's talk a little bit about the World Cup and the exit for the U.S., and we'll get to maybe some reasons why. And I know you wrote about one of maybe the chief reasons that I think is published yesterday. But I know you've been tweeting about this so we could see the whole thing coming. I want to just start with the premise that the United States men's national team basically made par, that they basically hit the ceiling for where that was it. They 3-shot par 5, hit the green, 2 putted, walked off, go to the next hole. Maybe they're just not talented enough. Is that a fair assessment?
I think so. I think this is what they do. I didn't cover this World Cup on the ground. I did do the World Cups in 2010 and 2014 and covered the U.S. And it was the same thing. It was like, well, we got out of our group. They had smaller groups then, so it was harder to get out. And then you play somebody reasonable, and you lose. Belgium beat them,
Yep.
And this is the sixth straight time they haven't gotten past the round of 16. One time they didn't even qualify. So, it was like, well, maybe this year, because they're playing pretty good against some teams, maybe this is the year it's 50-50 against Belgium. And that's it. And I think people get really hyped up and they look and they go, oh, we can win the World Cup, or like it's like the old days of college football, the pre-playoff, pre-NIL. Like the difference between the top 3 and 4 and like 4 to 12 is a lot.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, we're number 7. It's like, yeah, you're going against Alabama. Like
right.
that's nice, but you're going to lose 40-3 in the semifinal. So, it's just, this is what they do. Are they a little better talent-wise? But they lost 4-1. They didn't seem to have a lot of heart. Have they made steps in developmental? Sure, but we're nowhere near what I think the fans want. I think sometimes there's more urgency and excitement and demands from the fan base, which is great, than there is from the actual team and the program itself.
Dan Wetzel is joining us here from ESPN on the Adam Gold Show. I don't want to get lost in the weeds. I am going to bring in college football to this conversation at some point, but what you just said, the difference between 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 through 12 was before NIL was vast. And I remember when they expanded the playoff from 4 to 12, Dabo Sweeney was sitting down with us at ACC Media Day, where we're going to be next week, and he goes, let's be honest, ain't more than 3 teams that can win the title anyway. What are we doing? And at the time, he was probably right? But now we do have a lot more teams that are investing tens of millions of dollars into football. Now, because I know you wrote about it, I want you to talk about it. Why are we still not talented enough? And this is not about whether our best athletes don't play soccer. That has nothing. I don't think it has anything to do with it. We have so many people. We have great athletes playing soccer. We have great talented players playing soccer. but there is something missing in the sauce that leaves us just not being good enough. You wrote about pay for play.
Yeah, look, let me start with the best athlete thing. It is just not it. It completely misunderstands what soccer is, and it goes to an American concept of the combine mattering.
Right.
It does not matter how fast you can run you can run a 4.4, or could LeBron James do it, or Saquon Barkley, or what if we did this and we trained him? It's like golf. Soccer is a micro skill sport, and it's hard to notice when you just watch. But the level of skill and touch and the tiny technical abilities of someone like Lionel Messi is almost impossible to decipher, but it's so great. And so we apply NFL, NBA standards of what an athlete should look like and put it to soccer. It's like golf. Just because you're 6'5", 240 doesn't mean you can drive it further than Rory McIlroy.
Right.
You can't. It has nothing to do with that, and let alone the touch. It could be a good thing.
Yeah.
Sure, but it doesn't mean anything. You don't. Lionel Messi is 5'7". He's the greatest player of all time. The guy who scored 2 goals against the U.S. from Belgium, you wouldn't notice him in the Chipotle line. It's not faster, bigger, jump high. Our guys are every bit as athletic, even more athletic than most teams, but we do not have the creativity, the skills necessarily, let alone in this case, the heart. Our team kind of quit.
Yeah.
We got overwhelmed where, you watched Egypt and Mexico, and they went down on their sword. The U.S. just folded. They weren't mentally tough enough. And so there's a lot of reasons why would it be great if Saquon Barkley? Sure, it'd be great. But I don't know that he'd be a great player. We have more people. Let me put it this way. We have twice as many kids playing soccer in America than there are kids in Norway. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, we have more than there are kids in Belgium.
Yeah.
Just kids. So they're doing other sports too. They play basketball. Norway's in. They get 6 million people. It's South Carolina.
Yep.
Okay. They just won the most medals at the Winter Olympics. They do other things too. So it's not just all of this. But youth soccer is one of the many things, and there's a lot of reasons. But you pay for play sports, and it's in every sport, and everyone. I don't care if it's volleyball or basketball or whatever. Getting there increasingly. Baseball. We have created a system that is pricing out huge segments of the populace. Because if you want to try to train and be an elite soccer player, let's go with that, you could very easily be spending $20,000 or more a year by the time you're, approaching 13 years old. Traveling, all the club fees, the personal trainers. You also need to have parents who have the free time to drive you all over the country, fly all over the country. They don't work weekends. They don't work nights, things like that. If you live in a rural area, you're pretty much out. If you live in a city center or a major city, you're pretty much out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no good elite travel team in Brooklyn, okay? But there's 4 million people there.
Right.
So, we're just Montana, you're out. There's no way. So we do all this stuff. And pay for play not only prices people out, it also changes the dynamics of development and coaching. If a player at 10 years old is a customer and an important customer because they're paying, how hard can you coach them? How hard can you say, you got to move positions? I got to break you down and build you, all the things that create the mental toughness that we didn't see. Or how many times are you saying, look, I got to go with this kid who's a better athlete at 10, but there's this other kid who's smaller, but he's more creative. I think he could actually be a much better player. He's got much more potential because soccer is about the creativity you come up with. And instead you're putting him on the B or C team because we got to win tournaments to keep doing our thing. So we got all that.
There's a lot. It does sound like you have experienced the youth soccer system. I know I'm in it. And
I loved it. But I wasn't trying to create we were trying to win a World Cup.
Yeah, but you're caught because you mentioned winning, and I had a coach once tell me we're going to win something this year, and it put me off. Right, that element put me off, and my son is already. I mean, he's entering his senior year of high school, and I know they do the kids want to win, but they also want to get to a certain point where they are maximizing their ability, and sometimes trying to win and maximizing their ability isn't this. That's not the same path. It's interesting. I just talked to a legendary high school soccer coach yesterday here in the Triangle, and I am curious if we could somehow get back to a level where high school soccer mattered, because it doesn't really matter if you're trying to go and attract attention from a college or a club. If you think you're good enough, and generally, if you think you're good enough to be a pro, you're probably before the age of 10, you have probably drawn the interest of one of the professional outfits. But if you're interested in going to college and you want to continue your soccer in college, colleges don't recruit high schools anymore. They only recruit the club scene because that's where the most players are.
Absolutely. And as someone who was a parent of soccer players who did both club and high school, there's something to be said about the high school, especially the playoff tournament. You're playing for something real. It's a different phenomenon when you're playing for your high school, even if the level of soccer is technically, all of that inferior to the club. The pressure to win, the excitement around the school, the community, the whole thing is greater than when you're, I'm not going to downplay some of the big events, but when you're just playing, hey, it's this week's ECNL showcase, it's this week's, there's always another tournament. There's something about, this is your only sophomore year, man. This is your only senior. This is a state championship game. Both my kids got to play in state championship games. Losing those games, both of them lost. Incredible moment for them. Not positive, but what's the lesson? And so when you take a look at our team, what I thought was really dramatic about Monday night is there wasn't that mental toughness to keep fighting. Nobody was sitting there saying, not nobody, but it was a lack of effort. And Pulisic is the perfect example. He's the most skilled American player maybe we've ever had. I would say we had. He was terrible in the game and then took himself out and he left because he was injured.
Yeah.
And you go, well, and then you watch Harry Kane in Mexico, and it's like, he doesn't care. Right. You watch Lionel Messi in those 13 minutes when they come back yesterday. You're not taking him off the field. Where do we get that, and how do you get that if you're always the star of your travel soccer team, and you never have to be the leader of a team? You can go to Europe. He's a great player. But you go to Europe and you're just a guy on the team. Where do you get that leadership? And so this is one part of it. And I don't want to vilify travel soccer. We had great experiences in it. There's great people. There's great coaches that are listening. I don't want to do that. But something's missing. And maybe the goal should be what we're doing, which is, hey, the goal shouldn't necessarily be how do we win a World Cup. There's a lot more to it. But the travel, anytime you put pay for play, you not only exclude people, but it changes the dynamic of how teams are built, how development occurs. You could just raid another roster. Hey, we got this kid from another team.
Yes.
She's going to be better. Instead of, I'm going to develop this kid from the B team. All of that stuff goes out the window because this is a business.
Dan Wetzel, ESPN, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. 100% correct. To this particular World Cup, and we could spend all day long talking about pay for. Let me just ask you this: John Grisham once sat in a studio with me, and Grisham's a big fan of Little League baseball, and essentially funded like almost $4 million funding Little League baseball programs. I think it was in Mississippi, and I think might have also been in Charlottesville, Virginia, where he now lives. We need people like that with hugely deep pockets that recognize the value of youth sports. But there's no way to necessarily. Maybe there is a way to identify them. To find, does Warren Buffett want to have his name on youth soccer programs all over the United States to where parents are not asked to foot the bill. By the way, $20,000, I wouldn't do it if it got to be that number, because I couldn't do that. But we can push 10, and even that we have to say, all right, we're not going to do this, because I'm in the same boat. We're not going to do this, so we can do this. And I think that I'm probably a lot similar, very similar to a lot of parents who are figuring out a way to make it work, even though it's definitely puts a strain on things.
I predict you will have a lot of calls on this. And it could be from the volleyball parent, the baseball parent, the softball, whatever the sport. It's all going this route. And you feel as a parent this pressure of like, well, I need to try to, help my child.
Right.
And because, look, if in a sport like soccer, it depends what size high school you go to, I just know, but other sports, if you haven't done all this training, you may not even be able to play high school soccer.
Right.
And so you're like, it's gotten so chaotic. Depends where you're at, what school. Some schools don't care about this sport or that. But, if you're at a competitive school at one of these things, you kind of got to do it or you really can't be that good. And, I'm not saying all of it's bad. It's just what it is. But it's a very unusual deal. The old days of like, hey, you just got this 3-sport athlete and they just, they get the keys to the gym and get some extra shots up a week before basketball season. Now they're basketball. Those days are done, and you even see it in the NBA. More and more of the guys that are making it in the NBA, they're either European or they're upper middle class or former NBA players' kids who have had access to personal training and all these things. The days of like the kid that just grew up in Coney Island and played basketball down at the park down below for 14 hours a day and developed that killer will and that handle. That isn't how it is. They're at prolific prep or they're doing this or that. And it's just a totally different system, but we have turned it into a business. It's youth sports, travel sports, a $40 billion industry. Private equity is getting involved. I mean, you get stories. You go to a game, you got to pay to park.
Yeah.
You paid tickets to see your own kids play on a team you already paid for?
Exactly.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah, in it twice in Arizona. I had to not only pay for a ticket to watch, but I had to pay to park. Both times we were out there. It's just incredible stuff. Real quick before I let Dan Wetzel go, we have less than a minute. You had asked on Twitter, Brazil is like what college football program? I answered you on Twitter, Southern Cal, but I'm going to throw one at you. Who is USA Soccer? Because I have one suggestion that USA, I think.
U.S. Soccer, so we just sort of muddle along, but we have good fans. Like maybe like Wisconsin. We have fans have fun.
Yeah, they do. They play. They beat.
But you never beaten Ohio State. I don't.
I actually think
there's a lot of U.S. There's a lot of U.S. in this.
That is true.
Football.
I would pick North Carolina.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I mean you want to be good. Hire a high profile coach. Doesn't work out. So
it could be it. That could be it. You have your moments. Yeah, but it's.
Oh man, Dan, I
think they would actually love to be that good now.
That's probably true.
Last year,
that is probably true. We'll see what happens coming up in a month or so. Dan, I appreciate your time always.
Thanks, Adam.
You got it, Dan Wetzel, ESPN. One-timers next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It's the world's biggest soccer tournament. The trophy that they will hand out in July actually isn't a cup. It's not shaped like a cup, but it feels like a cup, although maybe you can't drink out of it. Anyway, FanDuel's got this great idea. It's called FanDuel Super Sub because it's hot and players do not play in general. Not a lot of players play the full 120 minutes if we go extra time. So if your guy gets subbed out, your wager stays on with the guy who comes in for him. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. It's a super idea. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Hey, for instance, France has a guy. He comes off the field. They bring a guy on. That guy's great. He scores. But if you had the other guy, you could still win. FanDuel Super Sub. Super. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
There was a time when speed wasn't a sport, it was survival. The hills of Wilkes County made outlaws. Only one rule: don't get caught. That's one thing that hasn't changed. This July, short track chaos and nowhere to hide. Only now, it's a points race. Be there when it matters. The Window World 450, July 19th at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Get tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Our American dream is ice cream. Red, White, and Bluebell is our strawberry ice cream loaded with strawberries, alongside creamy vanilla and blueberry ice cream with real blueberries. A full half-gallon of red, white, and blue ice cream. Feel free to celebrate.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today. Are you ready to make a difference? Become Mental Health First Aid Certified with the Governor's Institute. This free one-day training will give you the skills to recognize, understand, and respond to mental health and substance use challenges. Whether you're a friend, coworker, or caregiver, you can be the support someone needs. The training is available in person or online and is open to everyone. No experience required. Take the first step today. Visit milvetacademy.org to learn more.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Chip Patterson Wednesday, next hour. Talk about talking season. Big 12 this week, ACC, and I believe Big 10 next week, SEC the week after, or maybe the ACC and the SEC the same weeks. I don't really care. I just know it's ACC time next week. We get to convene in Charlotte, where the ACC will tell us how great they are. And we all know how great Chip is, so that's coming up next hour. Right now, it's one-timers.
Okay, so first up from our YouTube stream, there's Drew. Since it's been quiet so far, do you think Tulski is more just content with the Canes roster the way it is, or do you think there will be at least one big swing this offseason?
What's today's date? Today's July 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Season begins in, 3 months? What are we worried about?
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to set your roster by July 10th.
Yeah.
So
let's enjoy the Stanley Cup.
I mean, it's not even about that. It's like you don't have to make a move because everybody else has made moves.
Yeah.
Like, let's see what develops. I think they're probably, content with the team that they've got on the ice right now.
Yeah. People should just enjoy the Stanley Cup. From Cheryl, are the Hurricanes still trying for Connor Hellebuyck?
Again, I don't know. Probably not, because that's one that I think that if was seriously in the works, that they would have probably already done. But maybe they're waiting out everybody. Again, it's really the same answer, right? There's a lot of time. You don't have to do anything.
That's probably all we have time for today. I'll save the rest for tomorrow.
That's
no
fine.
worries.
That's fine.
Cornbread will kick it off tomorrow.
So we don't have to make a move now. Like, you can make a move if you feel like it clearly makes you better and if time is important. But right now it isn't.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they've got a great thing for this incredible tournament that is now down to the quarterfinals. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. Basically says that if you wager on a player, part of a parlay or just an anytime goal scorer, and he comes off the field for whatever reason, the player who comes on for him simply assumes the role of your wager. That's good. It does not work with teams, however. So if you thought the USA was going to win, you don't get Belgium going forward. This is why we stick with players and not nations. FanDuel Super Sub, available to you throughout this great tournament, even though, again, the United States no longer involved. FanDuel.com/local, FanDuel.com/local. You're always in the game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
When you own your own business, you own every decision.
Catch the red eye or take the 6 a.m.
Make a new hire or promote internally.
Celebrate a win with a toast at the gate or unwind at the lounge. Big props to this team.
Some decisions are a win-win, like earning 8 times points on Chase Travel. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member of FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important, trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Oak Cliff Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. Get a free oil filter and more during the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone, now through July 27th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
At the end of the day, we all kind of knew that, anybody who'd watched this tournament knew Belgium was a step up in class and also knew that Belgium really hadn't shown their true selves. They had gotten into the round of 16 with a pretty lackluster performance, and you saw Rudy Garcia make meaningful changes in order to make that happen. There were really no changes that Maurice Pochettino could make with the squad that he had dealt, because we had said going into this tournament that if you don't get it from your starting 11, there are very few options that are game changers off the bench.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. It's our friend, Will Palashik, we talked to yesterday. He did a goalie wars, by the way, at Charlotte FC today.
Oh. Look at that. I'll have to go check it out.
It is. He got grouped. Did not advance out of the group stage, but he had a good time. Good for Will. Tony Meola was down there, a legendary American goalkeeper. And I know we've talked a lot about soccer over the last 2-3 weeks. But part of the problem for the U.S. men's national team is that it's been a minute since we have had an elite goalkeeper. That's what got Switzerland through in penalties against Colombia. And, even though Belgium didn't need Thibaut Courtois, if you've got somebody who is on a list of who's the best goalkeeper in the world, and Courtois is on that list, then you have a little bit of an edge. I actually tweeted out before the game on Monday night. My fear, U.S. plays well, but get Courtois, if you will. Because if you can make 2 or 3 excellent saves and prevent a goal, sometimes you just have to prevent one. I thought that the U.S., if they played well, and I thought they would play well, I thought the U.S. could win a match like that 1-0. Because Belgium hadn't shown much. Belgium should have lost to Senegal in the previous round. Should have. They were losing 2-0 late. And then they scored, they tied it, they won it in extra time on a penalty. Very late, right before they went to a penalty kick shootout. Anyway, USA Soccer, we'll probably talk about it for a bit. FIFA released a statement earlier today. We're going to talk about that because it is comical. And the IOC, because they were jealous that FIFA was getting all of the "what is wrong with you clowns" conversation, the IOC weighed in yesterday and decided to become part of that conversation again. Bless their hearts. But right now, let's run it back. Where's LeBron James going to play? Is LeBron James going to Miami to play with Giannis? Is he going to Golden State to use walkers and canes and play with Steph and Jimmy Butler and the other geriatrics in the NBA? Is he going to New York? Is he going back home to Cleveland? Really? Brian Windhorst, ESPN.
People in the league are certainly, I think that it's pointing towards Cleveland, but they are operating off vibes. And if you ask me, are the vibes pointing towards Cleveland? Yeah, the vibes are pointing towards Cleveland, but it's just vibes. And I wish I could sit here and tell you, my sources tell me, Chris, that at 6:14 p.m. on Wednesday, here's the thing. In 2010, he announced on live television. In 2014, he announced on the internet. I mean, it was basically through a magazine, but it's essentially in an internet article. Yeah. In 2018, it was a press release. Now he gets to pick the medium. So we'll see. Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be a podcast. His own. Does he have a podcast? I'm sure he has a podcast.
Probably.
It will be fully controlled by LeBron James. It won't be at a gymnasium in Akron, Ohio, to announce that he's taking his talents to South Beach or he's going back to Lake Erie. I just don't see it playing out that way.
Mind the game.
I don't know exactly.
That's what it's called, mind the game.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Does he still do that? That's where he and J.J. Redick got together.
It says he's alongside Steve Nash currently.
Oh, look at that.
So there you go.
Steve Nash is not a coach. Maybe wherever LeBron James goes, Steve Nash will be the coach. All right. Donovan Mitchell just signed a massive contract extension with the Cavaliers. Going to pay him $75 million in the final year of that contract. And somehow that's good, according to Shams Charania, to see if LeBron goes back to the Cavs.
It certainly helps because here you have a franchise cornerstone in Cleveland now doubling down on the franchise. This is the second extension Donovan Mitchell has signed since joining the Cavs in 2022. And I'm told Donovan Mitchell has been hands-on with his approach to trying to help the Cavs and work with the Cavs on roster upgrades after their run to the Eastern Conference Finals. And that does include the pursuit of LeBron James. And Donovan Mitchell has made it clear behind the scenes that he would embrace LeBron James coming and joining him in Cleveland.
Well, sure he would. I just don't know how it would work out with James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and LeBron James. I just don't. And personally, if LeBron wants to win a title, I don't think Cleveland's it. No offense to Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's it if LeBron James wants to win a title. By the way, there are other good players with Cleveland. Philly might be the best option. Of course, Philly's got some, you just don't know when. You know that Joel Embiid is going to break down. You just don't know when that is. And maybe it would be better if it happened really early and then he sat out the rest of the year and came back just for the playoffs. But Joel Embiid is going to break down. And that is, unfortunately, an issue. All right, last night at the World Cup, or yesterday afternoon at the World Cup, Argentina found themselves 2-0 down in the 79th minute and still managed to win 3-2. Julian Lorenz of ESPN on the comeback.
You have to appreciate the character, for sure. I mean, Messi, of course, the assist on the Romero goal, first of all, and then once it's 2-1, I think we all knew they were going to come back, and Messi's goal is fantastic. The way he hits it just after the rebound, too, is great, but they have that character. They've got flows. They lack pace, since Di Maria retired. Even with Nico Gonzalez coming on, they lack width as well because only the fullbacks do that. But when they have Messi in that kind of form like he's been in this World Cup, you can never count them out.
No, they have a belief. And that was, we talked about it. That's kind of what Dan Wetzel said it before. The United States didn't play with that. I think they were legitimately stunned that Belgium looked that good. Legitimately stunned. And we could play all sorts of, psychological games. And I do not believe in bulletin board material, but if you do, then Belgium was given the most bulletin board material you could ever see. And the decision to allow Flo Balogun to play, I don't buy that. But if you do, that's the best example of it you could ever have. Andrew Weed from Apple TV, coverage of MLS on why America seems to be so far behind.
We are, as a nation, as a soccer nation, still behind in terms of sort of the dirt between your fingers, the culture, the way that we as a country think about the sport, the way that we teach the sport, the way that it occupies our imagination or lack thereof. we just don't have it at the level that other countries do yet. And it's growing. And I think especially if you go into certain communities, immigrant communities or communities that have been playing the game for a long time, or cities that have this long, near century-long tradition with the game, you see little bits and pieces of it. But it's not the same as even a Belgium. You go to Belgium, you go to the Benelux, you walk around the Netherlands, you know what you see in every single neighborhood? A street court. You see metal bars shaped like a goal. You see an asphalt thing, and it's not empty. When I look around the U.S. and I see those courts and I see the things that have been built, too often it's empty. You go to Europe, the entire neighborhood's there.
We seem to be talking about the same things in different ways. Yep, it's about culture. You know what it's really about? It's time. It's about time. And I may have said this on the air yesterday. When I was a kid in high school, so when is this? This is the early 80s when I was in high school. I legitimately do not remember if my high school had a soccer team. I think we did, but I don't remember. And I really only played baseball, which is a spring sport. Boys soccer is a fall sport. I didn't play football. I'm a good athlete. I was a great athlete in high school, but all I did was play baseball.
I'm trying to think if I remember my school having a soccer team, because a lot of my friends played like rec leagues. So
I never did.
Yeah,
there was no such thing as youth soccer.
Yeah,
when I was a kid playing Little League baseball, it was even at the early stages of Pop Warner football or like rec league basketball. We didn't really have those either when I was a kid growing up. And so it is time. The more kids experience it, maybe we're a generation away. We're probably not quite that far away from having more quality players in the pipeline. You can go and Google search a list of future men's national team players. Here's the pipeline. You know what you will find? I kid you not. Look at the names of the players you will find. You find a lot of children of people who immigrated to the United States. A lot. Almost exclusively. That's where we're headed. Anyway. Chip Patterson on the other side. It's talking season. Will the Big 12, will they sing Kumbaya wherever they are? I guess Dallas. And we'll talk about issues pertaining to the ACC, the Big Ten, and more next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When news breaks, don't wait. WRAL News Plus goes with you everywhere. Weather, traffic, and breaking news, live and local, all day, every day. Listen on 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and throughout the Triangle on 101.5 FM HD3. At home, in the car, at work, or on the go. Stay connected to the Triangle's most trusted newsroom anytime, anywhere. WRAL News Plus. Coverage you can count on.
Even with it being ridiculously hot, the days are still beautiful, and you can always cool down with the wind in your face. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and when most people think about summer, they think about the pool, the beach, maybe checking out a new city. Well, you can do all of that, but when you throw in taking your bike out to these places, it just adds another level of fun. And that's always the goal in life, right? To have fun. But occasionally, fun can also come with the risk of situations where you're in an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault while trying to have fun. And if that occurs, make sure to call my friends at Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they understand everything. They know what it's like to go through an accident. They know the value of your bike, your gear, and the investment that you've made. So case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is Adam Gold.
540.
Yeah.
Right? The big outer belt loop. Why don't we just call them inner loop and outer loop? Don't give me north, south, east. It changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a circle.
Yeah, they should. They use it for belly buttons.
Right? Inner and outer.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Use it for belt lines.
All right. I'm done with the rant.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. Oh, it's talking season. College football media days beginning this week. The Big 12 goes first, and apparently they have already had the off-site sit-down. Cody Campbell and Brett Yormark trying to figure out who the commissioner of the Big 12 is. We're going to start there with our friend Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator. Do we know who is running the Big 12? Is it Cody Campbell or is it Brett Yormark?
Well, if you saw the power move he pulled on a question about tortillas and paddles and whether or not Texas Tech fans can trust the Big 12 commissioner, you know, it was he's still holding some leverage, you know, in that room just a little bit. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch Landman. Excellent show.
I have not. I've seen the clips. I've seen clips on TikTok.
There is a steak dinner with him and the character that Andy Garcia plays, and
Right.
it's them and their wives, and it's all pleasant until it's not. I imagine that's what the steak dinner was like between Brett Yormark and Cody Campbell. I imagine it was very pleasant until it was not. And I think that both of them coming out of it, according to Ross Dellinger's reporting, as I understand it, you know, it says that relationship of healing is ongoing. But yes, Texas Tech feels a way. How about this? It is not dissimilar to the vengeful, vindictive attitude of Florida State fans towards the ACC and the ACC league office that has cooled because of a lack of success,
right,
in both you know, football and men's basketball. But you know, that the way that tension felt is what the Big 12 is dealing with Texas Tech. We'll see. I don't think that it bleeds over. Texas Tech has an operation that fields a level of talent that's going to give them an advantage most weeks, but it's going to be very interesting to watch that team go into all those visiting stadiums and deal with the role of being the villain in the conference.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, they could wear a black hat. I mean, they probably should. They should wear black uniforms and black helmets all year long because they are going to be the villain for that league. But it does bring me, I know you and I may have talked about it before. The entire league was unified against Texas Tech, which is the way this whole thing played out. So it's a unique place in this world that we live in, not just in college athletics, where Texas Tech could even have any leverage. It's not like they're a massive media market. They're not a heritage program. I wouldn't even put them in the Oregon boat as the nouveau riche. I mean, this is like the last just couple of seasons. So what kind of leverage could Texas Tech ultimately have over that league?
I mean, specifically, it's just money. It's just access to money. Just that there's like these other schools are dealing with donor fatigue.
Right.
And here is just an ATM that does not have limits. And that is it. It is the financial hammer that Texas Tech has behind it. I don't think it's that much leverage, and I think that was proven in the way that Brendan Sorsby played out. You just asked what? I'm answering your question.
Right. No, you're right.
The only leverage that I see is money. I think that there's some limits to that because the conference and the deal that the conference has with its members give the conference the most amount of leverage in that relationship.
Right. And if Cody Campbell was funding the other athletic departments, then he would have leverage, right? If he was contributing to Iowa State's
Baylor, right? Yes, yeah.
If he was doing that, then I would think he'd have leverage. But he's going into this saying we need other schools in this league to commit the way we commit, even though it's really I commit. I mean, that just rings hollow to me because maybe, and I always use Iowa State as an example, but maybe Iowa State doesn't have alum with those kind of pockets. Maybe Baylor doesn't. I'm just spitballing here, but
I mean the
ACC
ACC needs schools to commit like SMU is committing. SMU is committing to field one of the most talented rosters while also taking none of the media rights payouts.
Right.
Like, I mean, you want to talk about commitment.
That's amazing.
SMU
stuff.
is setting the pace car. I mean, that is why we are about to go to the ACC football kickoff, and we're just going to roll out of bed, put 2 feet on the floor, and say, heck yeah, SMU's one of the top 3 teams in the ACC. Do you understand how absurd that sentence sounds?
Crazy.
How true that sentence is,
yes.
But how absurd that sounds. But that's what it is. That's the leverage. That's the power. It is the ATM machine.
Yeah, it is. But I think what's different, and I don't know the structure of SMU, but
I can tell you the geography. It's the same as Texas Tech. Talk about the geography, and you want to talk about the
SMU's
where
Dallas.
This is coming from.
At least,
I'm saying,
right? Texas
energy,
Tech is right,
oil,
right? But
energy, oil, gas.
But it's also it seems to be more varied at SMU. It's not. Is it one guy at SMU, or because that's basically what it is at Texas Tech? It's Cody Campbell with the fattest wallet. So with SMU, it seems to be more of a culture of giving.
For the record, Texas, I don't want to. I understand we're not dealing with a lot of Red Raiders necessarily, but this is an unprecedented statewide platform,
and
I can't speak to how many Texas Tech Red Raiders there are out in Dare County, for example. So I want to be clear that there could be there could be more money people around Texas Tech. I mean, I think all the way back to Chris Beard Final Four run in men's basketball and the way that the men's basketball program, when they haven't had a coach who they hated, they've been able to operate and succeed at a certain level that has continued, right? Like now, Texas Tech, you would say, is a top 10 basketball program. That's crazy, but that's kind of where we're at. So it's got to be more than Cody. I don't want to be intellectually honest about that. It is not literally one person, but yes, what he's able to have in terms of leverage is is quite impressive and probably might exceed what SMU can do, being a smaller private school, which may have, yes, a more varied, money situation, but they do have a couple of big ones. I know.
Well, I'm sure there are others than, who is it, John Ruiz at Miami, right? There have to be other donors, and I know they have a whole bunch of former NFL players with deep pockets.
Oh, do you know what I heard the real key to the money is at Miami? Everyone thought it was John Ruiz and Life Wallet, and it really wasn't. It's people who knew Mario growing up. People like money, like people who are like super successful in their own industry, but are uniquely invested in Miami football. Not just because it's Miami football, but because it's Mario leading Miami football. I mean, think about Mario's age, right? He's late Erickson Johnson. Is that where he is? He's like late Johnson, early Erickson, right around that like 87 to early 90s. I mean, that's those people, his classmates coming out of Columbus High School, are now starting to become super successful. And so I've heard that it's not the John Ruiz Life Wallet. It's actually an even better story. It's the reason why Miami goes and calls Mario Cristobal. It's the reason why he comes home. And it's the reason that now that they've learned how to get out of their own way and not kneel the ball and have a clock management guru, that now they've found themselves at the top of the ACC.
It's more grassroots, are you saying, than big PAC money? Small donors versus, never mind.
I can't even. Campaign finance is so far beyond me. Maybe if I'd made different decisions in my life, but I've decided to dedicate this brain to college football.
Good for you. Although we're starting to blend.
I know,
we are starting to blend. I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to talk about the Save College Sports Act, which I did find somebody who said online that whenever a bill is named something, it usually means the opposite. I don't want to talk about it though. But I am curious, how much do you need? And I know there are levels to this, much like Thierry Henry said about when you step Belgium. Up to Belgium, right? Yeah. How much do you need to compete at the highest level per season? What do you think that number is? This is football, this is not any other sport. What do you think that number is? I think it's 30 million?
It's probably somewhere in that you are definitely north of 20, and then you start to go into who's your coach and who's your quarterback in terms of what you can accomplish.
Right. And did you identify players that didn't cost you that much money who can help fill roles and do all that? What does it cost to get to that next group, especially as we expand? And I think it seems pretty obvious that we're going to end up at 24, right? Sooner rather than later. At 24 in the playoff?
Who knows? Who knows, Adam? Who knows?
That's true. That's good. That's a very good answer, actually.
You see, Adam, they need to take another 4 months, and we'll meet back on it maybe around the Rose Bowl. Maybe when we're just all gathered.
Let's just pretend it stays at 16.
Next time we're all at the Four Seasons, we'll bring it up on the agenda.
But what is the contender for like the last couple of playoff spots? What is that entry? Is that 20 million?
I don't think anybody has taken the time, myself included, to really care about what the 29th spending team or roster cost is, right? I think that in my mind, even if you're talking about a 2014 playoff, top 16 to 20 in terms of talent, whether that's the cost of talent or the evaluation of the talent, that's probably the group you're talking about. If we're thinking who's going to end up at the very end of this thing, who's going to be playing on that Monday night for the national championship. So it's like there's a pace car, right? There's all the number that has been thrown around, which who knows, again, who knows, but a $40 million roster at LSU for Lane Kiffin's year one. Right. That's like, whoa. And if that's the number that's getting thrown around, then you assume that that's the pace car. And then everybody else just falls in line. Everybody else is some levels of probably anywhere from $30 to $40 million. And what that means for success depends on your quarterback, your coaching, and your evaluation. I think that you could probably find yourself competing for championships in your own conference with much, much less. But you're also doing that maybe in a conference that doesn't have to go up against all of those teams, because most of the teams at the top of the spending list are the same ones that are in the same two conferences at the top of the sport right now.
No doubt about it. And I'm going to bring up something with you that you and I have talked about before, but I just think it's worth bringing up. Roughly 70 teams who play in the top 4 conferences plus Notre Dame and maybe one other school, right? Well, I'll say 70 teams in that group. I would say that there are probably 30 of those 70 that don't really want to do this. And that number might be higher. What do you think?
Well, I think do this is different. I think that I don't think everybody wants to keep up with the very top. I don't think everybody needs to keep up with the very top. I think that college football can still be a meaningful piece of your university and athletic department without having to go to donors and say, this year national championship, we got this. I think there can be healthy expectations. And I think that there can be ways that athletic directors are not feeling pinched, because that's really what I see with the playoff expansion and what I've come to understand as maybe one of the driving factors here is that it is becoming a fatigue issue, having to go and sell a playoff or bust proposition to the people that are donating money. And so with all the spots taken up at the top of the sport, the only thing they can do is lower the standards. So then more schools can get success every now and then. They're expanding their little country club, and it's going to make it a little bit more chaotic for those programs at the very top that have really enjoyed not having to deal with booking your tee time when the tee time's open 2 weeks out, right?
Yeah.
But they got to make more money, and so they're going to let more people in.
Chip Patterson, as always, on a Wednesday. It brings me back to a much simpler time, Chip, when I was living and working in Baltimore, Maryland, and listening to the Gary Williams Show on the radio. And this is during a run of, 7 Sweet 16s in a 9-year period. And Maryland fans being angry because the Terrapins weren't getting beyond that.
Yeah.
As opposed to being amazed that this unprecedented run for them of consistently being good and being a player, or what we experienced with prior to this year with the Carolina Hurricanes, why it wasn't celebrated. Genuflecting to 3 runs to the conference final in a 7-year span after not making the playoffs in 9 years, how it was somehow looked at as a failure. So at some point, a school's going to get to the playoff when we go to 24. A school's going to get to the playoff like 5 out of 6 years, lose in the first round, and that coach is going to get fired because they just didn't produce when it really mattered. Meanwhile, they would have made the playoffs 5 out of 6 years.
Yeah. That's it. Essentially, think about, I've told you, I think that if we are going to make this thing big, the idea of the 2014 playoff makes sense in my head from connection to the history of college football, where we have relied since 1936 on the AP Top 25 poll. I like that connection. I like that through line. Think about it. If you're an AP Top 25 team at the end of the season and you weren't trying to win the national championship, that was a pretty good year.
Right.
If you make the college football playoff, it's probably a pretty good year. And then the thing that's exciting for those fan bases and those schools is just give us a shot. Just let us in there and give us a shot. Cincinnati probably never had a chance, but they got in.
Right.
They got a shot. They got a chip in a chair. So, I think that the through line and the idea of selling success as being a top 25 caliber team casts a wide enough net across the power conferences to where there are a lot of schools that can say, yeah, we can be a top 25 team. There are not a lot of schools that can say we can be a top 4 team. There are not a lot of schools that can say that we can be a top 5 team or even a top 10 team. But there are a lot of schools that can say, if we get everything right, and if we just hit on a couple of spots, we can absolutely finish up there, sub 18, 19 in the country.
It occurs to me that an expansion to 24 in the playoff almost might bring us back to the way the sport used to be and how it was viewed, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't that like in a roundabout way, that would be amazing. Because look, I'm not saying that was the pinnacle, but State and ECU meeting in the Peach Bowl in 1991. Granted, if your school lost that game, you feel terrible about it, especially in a rivalry situation. But man, that's pretty high cotton, right?
Yeah. It
would be cool to almost go full circle back to that time. I have a number of things. By the way, next week is the ACC and which other league?
Just ACC. No, we don't have any overlap. This is truly a great media days calendar.
Is this cooperation? Did they all talk to each other?
I don't know, but and then also not having ACC and Big Ten back to back means that I get a week in between, so I'm not spending 2 straight weeks on the road.
Very nice.
So, yeah, I'm very happy with the way this thing broke.
All right, I don't know if we're going to speak next week or not, but it's all right. We have a number of things.
We'll
you
both
and I
be there. We'll see. I don't know when. Okay, I don't know when we would be able.
We'll have lunch together. But so I want to have a little fun with you with a connection to the World Cup before I let you go.
Okay.
So I saw this question floating around. I actually brought it up with Dan Wetzel earlier, Matt Brown from Extra Points as well.
That was all today?
No. Dan was today. Matt Brown was, I think, Monday.
Those are good guests.
Oh, yeah, dynamite people. Look, I never say it.
I like those people.
I never say it, but you did met unprecedented statewide.
Yeah.
I mean, the stars come out. It's it's the only reason why we can afford you, Chip. As a joke for other people. So Wetzel floated out on Twitter after Brazil lost. Who's the college football program equivalent to Brazil? 5 World Cup titles, haven't won a knockout stage or been beyond the round of 16 in like 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the college football program equivalent?
USC?
It's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
100%.
And especially with multiple generations. I did a story that ran over the holiday weekend trying to pick one program for every single decade for the last 100 years. The research was delightful. I very much enjoyed going through the process.
I'm going to ask you a question about that.
You keep seeing some of those names. It's just some of those programs, they kept popping up. They're just the fabric of college football's history. Most interesting one that I did not, I think, officially name outside of 1 or 2 honorable mentions, Michigan, which has always been pretty good and maybe has the most sustained level of pretty good without too many dips, but also not a lot of time at the very top of the sport, the way that an Oklahoma has on multiple generations, USC, multiple generations, Notre Dame, multiple generations over the last 100 years.
No doubt about it. Who is the U.S. men's national team? Give me a college football program for that.
I mean, truthfully, the men's national team is what happened to VCU after VCU beat North Carolina, right? Like the men's national team is the Cinderella that got to the Sweet 16 and said, "Oh no, oops, okay, all right." Like didn't the 2012 Tar Heels beat Ohio with Stillman White and no Kendall Marshall in the Sweet 16? I
don't remember.
They
advanced past Creighton, right?
Right.
Didn't they lose to Kansas?
After
Kendall Marshall got hurt.
Kendall Marshall got hurt in the second round of Creighton. They beat Ohio in the Sweet 16, lose to Kansas in the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Ohio.
I think that it was I think it was an exposure of weaknesses that were foretold before tournament play started.
Oh, yeah.
And overlooked because of the success. I think that's
it.
I mean, I went in with very low expectations and very low hopes. I wasn't sure that they were, I did not think that making the bracket was going to necessarily be part of the team's future. Then all of a sudden they just come out pouring goals on.
Yeah.
And then you're like, whoa, hey, looky here.
Yeah, we all got out over our skis.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's fine. I'm admitting that some level of just being ignorant and over the top is something that I'm going to bring to the World Cup fan experience, and I'm unapologetic about it.
That's fine. This is the time for it, right? During especially a home World Cup, this is the time for it. I think the reason why that I think we were correctly optimistic about Monday night was because Belgium isn't that good
and didn't look good.
And they should have lost to Senegal in the round of 32. But they're the team that Belgium fielded wasn't that good.
But
they just
really, but do you know what else?
Yes.
They also really wanted to beat US.
Yeah, I think there was a motivation factor that goes beyond.
I think they
normal.
wanted I think that the things that what's his name ain't Thibaut. What's the name of Courtois?
Oh, Thibaut Courtois, the goalkeeper. He's great.
His comments after the game, where we wanted to punish them.
Yes.
I was like, okay, that's and sometimes you just maybe they were playing with their food against Senegal. Maybe they were just like
they should have lost the match. Should have lost the match.
They found they had something from the start of that match,
Yeah, they had an understanding of how the game needed to be played, right? And they're more like the neighborhoods they play in. This is where it comes to me. Like that's why schedule matters, right? That group, no matter who they were, they had played in tougher neighborhoods than the United States men's national team had played in for 2 years. And the fact is, even though a different manager, all that. They went out in Copa America, and they didn't even get out of the group in Copa America. So they didn't advance. It was a much smaller event. Didn't advance to the quarterfinals in that. Canada did. The United States didn't. And, I think the U.S. was much better. But, yeah, Belgium plays in a much tougher neighborhood. They were more conditioned.
So initially, here's what I said. Initially, the best one is that the performance was very James Franklin Penn State. That they beat up on all the teams that they should beat up on, and then they get to that game against Ohio State, and they just poop their pants.
Yep.
That's like the James Franklin Penn State. That was very good, so I need to make sure that one gets shouted out here. Others have said Texas A&M. I would say Texas A&M is a no because Texas A&M has talent.
Yeah.
This wasn't a group that, had talent and underperformed. It was a 38-year-old MLS defender back there against world-class footballers.
We knew that was an issue.
There was a talent deficit, so it could not be Texas A&M, and also the talent makes it tougher for Penn State, though I very much appreciate the record against top 10 opponents. But I had a conversation with a very good friend of mine. We were dropping off our kids. Like when was it? Monday night? Yeah, we were dropping off yesterday morning, and he went to North Carolina when I was at North Carolina. And you might know the Tar Heels are 3-12 in their last 15 bowl games. And the 3 include a Cincinnati from the Big East days and a Temple. So it's been a lot of losing in bowl games for the North Carolina football program.
That was actually the analogy I made, that the men's national team in Carolina.
Yeah, and just that experience of you had a great season. You didn't beat everybody, but you had a 10-win season. I mean, heck, Larry Fedora got 10-win seasons, right? You got a bit. You played in the ACC championship game.
Should've won that game.
You were 9-0 to start the year, right? And then you play Texas A&M, and then you play Oregon, and then all of a sudden, oh no, okay, okay, let's not try to embarrass ourselves. Oh, we're embarrassing ourselves. Okay, and obviously that was the thing about the TC. Like Bill Belichick has no connection to that history of North Carolina football falling on its face against quality competition on a big stage. But that's what made the TCU hurt so much for a lot of people who have experienced that, is because that was familiar. Like, that was too familiar to just like finally have this, like, here we go. Oh, okay. All right.
I'll see you Wednesday in Charlotte, my man.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
Chip Patterson here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, when we come back, we have no soccer to bet today. It's the first day since June, 14th, without World Cup soccer? I got to go back and look at the date. Whatever, it might have been earlier than that. First day, no soccer. How will I find bets to lose? Next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple. Be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
There was a time when speed wasn't a sport, it was survival. The hills of Wilkes County made outlaws. Only one rule: don't get caught. That's one thing that hasn't changed. This July, short track chaos and nowhere to hide. Only now, it's a points race. Be there when it matters. The Window World 450, July 19th at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Get tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCAA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box in
went
the car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. A week from today, we'll be live in Charlotte. ACC football kickoff. What is the big question going down there? Is it about playoff length? Is it about playoff structure? Is the playoff the number one topic in college football? Is it the calendar? Is it the amount of money that's obviously available? Is a lot of big picture questions, I think, for ACC football as I guess everybody converges on Charlotte for ACC football media days starting on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We will be down there on Wednesday for the commissioner for NC State as well. All right, it's time to stretch.
Hey, this one, I love doing these ones about crazy food, and here we go.
All right, crazy food. All right, good.
This is so weird. And I don't know why they didn't do this around the 4th of July, because I feel like this would be a good grill opportunity. But Pringles has announced that they're going to be selling flavored hot dog buns. And they will come in Pringle cans.
I'm confused by all of this.
It's very confusing. So,
I need to know the flavors.
They are making a limited edition line of potato-based hot dog buns.
Okay.
That are
well, we have potato rolls, which I like.
Sure, yeah.
Good.
So they might not be terrible, but they do come in 3 flavors.
All
you
right.
can get it in sour cream and onion.
Sure, that makes sense, honestly,
right?
for Pringles.
Barbecue also makes sense. And honey mustard. So, I mean, I love honey mustard, so I could totally see that being a...
I like honey mustard, little, like, pretzel nuggets. Those are good.
Oh, yeah, those, dangerously good. Also dangerous for your teeth, because I feel like they can be a little tough. But if you're interested in this, you can't just buy Pringles buns in a can. You have to go online. You can't find them in stores, but you have to go on their marketplace, onceyoupopmarket.com, and you have to buy a 3-pack of their chips for $7, and you get 3 buns in, and they come in tubes just like the Pringles. So it's hilarious. I don't know why they're doing this.
They come in tubes. Okay.
I know. I don't know.
Hey, stay on brand.
You know what though? That's not a terrible idea, because at least it won't get smushed. Like, it's in a can. So I guess that's one way to make sure that they don't get flat.
Like, how tall? I mean, are we just selling 2 buns?
Right.
Because in a Pringles can, if you
could probably put 2 of them in there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Unless we're going to squash them.
Right. Yeah. No, that's it.
The packaging is a problem for me.
Yeah. That's it. So you get 1, maybe 2 in there. And today is the first day that you can actually get this until they sell out, but then you'll get one more opportunity next Wednesday. So for whatever reason, they feel Wednesdays are a good day to buy potato-based hot dog buns from Pringles.
Okay.
From Pringles. So, yeah. There you go. I don't know why they didn't have this ready for 4th of July, because then people could have tried it out for their, cookout or whatever. But, I don't know. May have another cookout. It's still summertime. You know what else is still going on? Lots of baseball, and that's what I'll be betting on.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All right, I don't even know what to do, because we don't have any soccer at all.
Yeah?
None.
No.
I also have a question.
Yes.
Like FIFA, we already complained about match times, how all over the place they are. You've got 4 quarterfinal matches. First one is tomorrow. That's France-Morocco.
Yeah.
Friday, you've got Spain-Belgium. Thursday, quarterfinal, only 1 match. What time would you start that match, Victoria? What time would you start it?
Not whatever time I'm sure they're doing.
I'm asking you the question. What time would you start it?
So, this main match, you mean?
There's only one match tomorrow.
Oh,
only
tomorrow.
one quarterfinal.
I mean,
France, Morocco.
I'd do like 8 o'clock, maybe.
Or 4.
Yeah, or 4. Yeah.
What? Thursday? What's going on?
It's weird.
Put that. I get it. France and Morocco are, I think, 5 hours Morocco. I think France is 6 hours ahead.
Oh, yeah.
So 7 o'clock. It's going to be late regardless.
Yeah.
Like, prime time.
Yeah.
7 o'clock would work.
Yeah. Give people a chance to get home from work. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know. Maybe that's a stretch.
Yeah.
So.
The Friday match to 3, which also doesn't make any sense. But never mind.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. Hopefully, this will make sense. My Cubs, they won yesterday, so maybe it's a new lucky cup from yesterday. But they're underdogs.
They are.
Against the Orioles. So, give me my Chicago Cubs to win again, because why not? Plus 110.
Baltimore, minus a run and a half.
Rude.
Over 10. Pete Alonso, anytime home run hitter.
Yeah.
He has no home runs in his last 7. He's due.
Yeah.
That's plus 715.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe the Royals will have like 10 errors like they did.
They had 3 in one play?
What a clown show.
I saw the highlight. They had 3 on one play. Man, I was good. Actually, I'm going to save it for the other side. The Yankees might make real history tonight.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Greatest tournament in sports in the world, still ongoing. Even though the United States is no longer involved, Belgium moves on, and that is unfortunate for us because we're all big USA fans. But with FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player is subbed off, now you don't get Belgium if you had USA to win it all. You don't get Belgium now. But if your player is subbed off, for instance, if you have Bradley Barcola for France and he gets subbed off and Desiree Doué comes on and scores, then your Barcola wager is still good. That's called FanDuel Super Sub. That's right. If your player's no longer in the match, the guy who came on for him takes over the wager. FanDuel.com/local. Get started today. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WREL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off, Fast Play, and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to see Wheel of Fortune in LA. Come on, big money! Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh's Village District. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at BaileyBox.com.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Kids across America are going to school hungry every day. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
Sean Payton had an idea after the Patriots fired Bill Belichick to convince the Broncos owner, Greg Penner, to hire Belichick as the head coach, with Sean Payton being the assistant head coach, so Belichick could go get the 15 wins that he needed to break Don Shula's all-time wins record for an NFL head coach. Now, of course, it did not get done, but the fact that Sean Payton thought of that and actually considered doing it is not surprising to me, but certainly something that caught my eye.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. That's Adam Schefter talking about, I guess it was an item from the Seth Wickersham piece on Sean Payton. I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with Adam Schefter. There's no way you could hear that story and not go, holy blank. Yeah, no way. I'm sorry, that's surprising. Peyton did come from essentially that. It was on staff with Belichick and under Parcells all the way back in the day, or maybe he was just on staff with Belichick. But they come from the same tree. And I get having that much respect for Bill Belichick as a professional coach. Actually, I've taken a couple of shots at UNC football, comparing them to the U.S. men's national program. And I want to make it very clear that I could not have, I think Bill Belichick's with one exception being Bill Walsh. I think Bill Belichick is the greatest NFL coach ever.
Yeah.
And the notion that you would just show up in college and it would work, and granted, I'm oversimplifying that, but the fact that it would just, you would think that you could just show up and it would work is unfortunately disrespectful to the fact that it's really two different things. It's the same game, but a different sport. And much like being a coach in the NBA or college basketball are very different entities. Same game, different sport. And it is incredibly difficult to be super successful at both. I don't know how long the university is going to give Bill Belichick to execute his plan. I don't know how long Bill Belichick is going to give himself to execute the plan. But my understanding about the talent level of this team, which is slightly better than last year's team, the schedule is so much better or more difficult, that even if they were better, significantly better, we are still talking about a team that probably isn't better than 6-6. And whatever last year's record was, and 6-6, is that enough for Bill to want to run it back. Here's what I'm going to answer my own question. I think if they show some progress, he will still have the desire to prove a point. And I said from the very beginning that I felt like this was a 3-year plan. That even though they talked a big game, and it wasn't just him, and frankly, it really wasn't him, it was those around him or those around the program, media that had been like, well, they're going to win right away. I'm like, nah, they're not. But as long as they show some progress, I think there will be a desire to run it back again the following year. Then it just depends on whether or not the university wants to do it. And it also depends on just how disruptive his girlfriend can be.
There's that.
I don't think they want to go through that again. It was a difficult, tough year for non-football matters.
Yeah.
All right, Richard Deitsch from the Sports Media Podcast is going to join us in about 10 minutes. Right now, Wall of Sound time.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
Talked about Texas Tech with Chip Patterson. Joey McGuire is the head coach, and he thought he had an elite-level quarterback in Brendan Sorsby. He no longer does. All of that has ended. All of the saga has ended. Now, how do you move on?
One thing that I truly believe in is to bring a team together. Shared success is part of it, but shared adversity brings you even closer. And, you know, the last couple months we've gone through some adversity. I do believe if you walked into our building every single day and you walked into the weight room and the workouts or football school, you wouldn't know that anything was going on.
All right, move on. Be a team. I like it. I like a team. Seriously, I'm a big. The Carolina Hurricanes are very much like that, right? A group that cared about one another, and it manifested itself in a Stanley Cup, and it will manifest itself. It will manifest, not manifested here. It will manifest itself in another Stanley Cup. All right, Pete Thamel from ESPN on where Texas Tech goes at quarterback now.
We have some rare on-field news for Texas Tech. Joey McGuire today put forth an optimistic timeline for the return of the new starting quarterback there, Will Hammond. Remember, Hammond played really well early last season in place of Baron Morton, including a big game at Utah and a blowout win for Tech. He tore his ACL in October, and this spring, when Brendan Sorsby was slated to be the starter, Joey McGuire had listed his timeline to be coming back around week 3. Well, today, Joey McGuire told me, I think he could be the starter opening day. I really do. So for the Abilene Christian opener, and really more importantly, the game at Oregon State in week 2, there's a good chance Will Hammond will be the starting quarterback for Texas Tech.
There you go. Who needs Brendan Sorsby? Now to the NBA, and Brian Windhorst is reading tea leaves. He has his ear to the ground, and all signs point for him to LeBron James back to Cleveland.
People in the league are certainly, I think that it's pointing towards Cleveland, but they are operating off vibes. And if you ask me, are the vibes pointing towards Cleveland? Yeah, the vibes are pointing towards Cleveland, but it's just vibes. And I wish I could sit here and tell you, my sources tell me, Chris, that at 6:14 p.m. on Wednesday, here's the thing. In 2010, he announced on live television. In 2014, he announced on the internet. I mean, it was basically through a magazine, but it's essentially in an internet article. Yeah. In 2018, it was a press release. Now he gets to pick the medium. So we'll see.
What will the medium be? Here's what I think LeBron does. LeBron goes to a schoolyard and has a chalk mural on the side of the wall, on the side of the school where he's going next. I made that up. It's probably going to be a social media deal or a podcast deal, something like that, where he will make that announcement. Just to drive more attention, more traffic, listeners, all of that. That's my prediction for how he will announce this. I hope it's not Cleveland. I think if you go back to Cleveland, you're not going back to win. I don't think they're winning. I think Philadelphia could win. Honestly, teaming up with Giannis in Miami, maybe that could win. I don't know. I'd love to see. I would love to see the old age home just for the comedy of it.
Yeah.
At Golden State. Steph's 38, LeBron's 40, 41,
Yeah.
Draymond's 100.
Just for the theme.
Oh my
It'd be
gosh.
great.
Be like Golden Girls.
I know. It
Which-
would. The Golden Guys.
Who would be Rue McClanahan?
Yeah.
Who would be Betty White?
B. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be Betty White.
Uh-huh.
That'd be much more. Oh man, we could have so
love
much
Betty
fun with
White.
that. Oh, who
Yeah.
doesn't love Betty White?
It'd be Curry. I think Curry would be Betty White.
Trying to think. LeBron is more B. Arthur.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, he's also tall like her.
Maud. He's Maud. Sorry, some people understand what I just said. All right. Shams Charania from ESPN on Donovan Mitchell's extension with the Cavaliers, which is like 4 years, $237 million, and how it positively impacts getting LeBron.
It certainly helps because here you have a franchise cornerstone in Cleveland now doubling down on the franchise. This is the second extension Donovan Mitchell has signed since joining the Cavs in 2022. And I'm told Donovan Mitchell has been hands-on with his approach to trying to help the Cavs and work with the Cavs on roster upgrades after their run to the Eastern Conference Finals. And that does include the pursuit of LeBron James. And Donovan Mitchell has made it clear behind the scenes that he would embrace LeBron James coming and joining him in Cleveland.
Well, of course you're going to embrace LeBron James. Here's the thing. I think LeBron can fit in as a role player. I do. If you're asking him to play 25 minutes a game, you know, especially early in the season or throughout the year, just to make sure you've got healthy, fully operational LeBron in the playoffs where you can extend those minutes up a little bit more. Role-playing LeBron, yeah, of course. I think the big problem is here if they bring back James Harden, and I don't believe he has signed a new contract there. He opted out of a player option. He's looking for long-term money. If I were Cleveland, I'd just say thank you. No. All right, when we come back, Richard Deitsch, Sports Media Podcast on coverage of the World Cup. We've got NFL negotiations coming up for TV. Also, how has this World Cup been covered? And they have a new negotiation coming up. Richard Deitsch joins us next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
All the corner kicks, all the heart-stopping action, and all the soccer. Listen to 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports through July 19th as we bring you full coverage of soccer's biggest events. We'll have match updates, results, and news right through the championship and the awarding of the Golden Trophy. Our coverage of soccer's biggest event is presented by North Carolina Courage and Wake Orthopedics, your winning team for orthopedic care.
Summer is for pool visits, vacations, and finally taking that adventure you've been putting off. I'm Victoria Votenecker here for Law Tigers, and one thing I've learned over my time riding motorcycles, or really just any vehicle in general, is you can try to plan for as much as possible when figuring out your next trip, but no one wants to think about the steps you have to take after getting into a wreck. And the reality is, riding your motorcycle comes with that risk, despite all of the benefits it also brings. But one important thing to remember if you're ever in that situation of getting into an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, always call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too. They understand the lifestyle. They understand the value of your bike and your gear. They know what it's like to go through an accident. So case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Most families get their financial advice in pieces. A financial advisor here, a CPA there, an estate attorney somewhere else. Everyone means well, but nobody's talking to each other, and those gaps can work against you. Trajan Wealth's family office brings wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning together, not as separate conversations, but as one coordinated system built around your life, your goals, and the people who matter most. Ours is a true family office, not one that refers you out because it's convenient. This kind of dedicated collaboration used to require a 7-figure net worth, but here's the game changer. Trajan kicked that door open. Trajan advisors are fiduciaries, always obligated, always honored to act in your best interest. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Gold. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6-7. He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing. And that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, like, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Like 40 million of my closest friends, apparently, Monday night, I was locked into USA-Belgium. The number is ultimately, I'm going to guess, this is across not only Fox proper, but Telemundo. The number will go beyond 40 million viewers for USA-Belgium. It was over 30 for USA-Bosnia. This has been an incredible World Cup for television eyeballs. We'll see if it continues without the United States. My suspicion is the number will drop somewhat, but maybe not a ton, because we got big stars left. Richard Deitsch, Sports Media Podcast. I have too many things to discuss with you, sir. Appreciate your time, and I know you're locked into this. I know you're a big fan of Rebecca Lowe. So broad brush for me, your thoughts on how this World Cup has been covered here.
Well, first, good to be with you. So, based on your question, I sort of look at it in two different ways, because there's the viewership story, right? And then there's the production story. So we'll start with the viewership story. Viewership story is obviously already a massive success, no matter what happens after this point. You mentioned some of the numbers. When the final numbers come in, we've only gotten preliminaries for the U.S.-Belgian game, but that should be mid-40 millions between Telemundo and Fox, perhaps close, creeping up on 50 million. But Fox itself will have more than 30 million viewers having watched that game, and that's the equivalent of an NFL playoff game, not the conference championships, but pretty much everything else beyond that. The U.S. team has drawn fantastic numbers. The most impressive thing to me during this tournament is the non-U.S. national games, which have drawn really, really well. Portugal, Croatia drew 11 million viewers on Fox. That's an incredible number. A couple of years ago, that's game one of the World Series, 11 million viewers. Yeah. So, it's been a great tournament. I think it's more about U.S. people love events more than there's going to be people who are going to tune into soccer once this tournament's going. I don't expect Premier League viewership to double. I don't expect MLS viewership to double. So I think it's just a great event, and I think Americans have gotten behind it as they do the Olympics. So that's part one. Part two, Fox's coverage has been better, and it's been better because they made better hires on this one. Rebecca Lowe, front and center on that. Thierry Henry, I would put down there as well. They brought back Clarence Seedorf, who I think's been excellent if you've been watching on the additional stuff. The other thing is they made a decision not to necessarily feature Alexi Lalas as the overwhelming alpha dog on the main set. That's sort of more become now Thierry Henry, and then Zlatan Ibrahimovic, sort of provides some comic relief as well as everything else. But that's been smart. So the coverage isn't just this over the top, kind of hot takey American style coverage. It's more broad and internationally. So it's a better product. And then the games themselves, I think at this point Fox's game broadcasters are good. They brought in Ian Dark as Derek Ray is a fantastic game caller. I think
Darren Fletcher,
Holden, our decent number one. Darren Fletcher's fantastic. Yeah. That's really where, in my opinion, Fox has improved. Is their bench is phenomenal. If you're not watching the U.S. national team and you're watching one of these other games, it's really being called by professional broadcasters. And then the last thing I say, as I'm filibustering here, the one thing I never expect Fox to do is to cover anything off the pitch.
Right.
Which, once again, they have not. Do I think it's a dereliction of editorial duty? Of course I do. But they are honest about it. They've always said, since as long as I've covered them, between covering for Sports Illustrated and The Athletic, they've always said that they're not going to go into the controversial areas of the World Cup. And other than, some minimal talk about the red card as opposed to Donald Trump and the U.S. government's involvement in it, they really haven't touched anything. So if you want that kind of coverage, you have to read it elsewhere. You're not getting that on Fox.
No question. And by the way, I know you're no longer with them. The Athletic has done a phenomenal job covering this story, that part of this story from stem to stern. Richard Deitsch, Sports Media Podcast, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I do want to get into what I thought was really good television, though, because Thierry Henry went back to it the day after USA, or rather the day, I guess the night after the match, where he said, look, I just want to reiterate what I said. I think people missed it, and he pointed out. And I could not agree more. It was never a red card. It shouldn't have been a suspension. But once it is a suspension, and for those people who do not know, if you receive a straight red card during a match, part of the punishment is you miss the next match. That is standard across all FIFA competitions, except FIFA went, maybe not this one. And Thierry Henry said, it was never a red card. He shouldn't have been sent off. But ultimately, I hate the process. And it created some real tension between Henry and Lalas. My favorite part of that was Zlatan just laughing in between them, or holding back laughter in between them. But I thought that was pretty good television because you did see Lalas caping up for American interest, really in the face of the rules.
Yeah, that was good television. It was uncomfortable television. It's good. I will say this. I think Thierry Henry absolutely represents how the world looked at this.
Yes.
I live in Canada now, even though I'm an American. And I can tell you, if you talk to your average Canadian, they would say what Henry said. The red card was terrible, which it was. It was way too much of an overcharge by the ref. But once that's in place, you have to respect the decision. I come at this, honestly, just personally, a little bit of a cynic. I have absolutely no respect for FIFA or the IOC based on just years of writing about them, covering them. I mean, they are horrible organizations. If you want to use the word corrupt, I'm not going to argue with you.
Right.
So, to me, if you're dealing already with an organization that is pretty shady, why not have your government officials try to do something that's shady because you're just playing in that same sandbox? So, like, I kind of understand it, you know, like in that sense, like I get it. And, but if you're, you know, like everybody, I would say you make a good point because everybody on that set played their part. Henri is going to play the European card where you'd be offended by this, like the sensibilities of soccer. Lawless is going to put on his, you know, Uncle Sam, Apollo Creed shorts from the first Rocky movie and flag wave for the Americans, right? I get that. Zlatan is going to be the international man of mystery. And then Rebecca Lowe's a professional, and she's just got to get everybody to break and not have any fights on the set. So I feel like everybody played their role there, and I agree with you. It was interesting. And, like, that is probably one of the more interesting moments of the tournament because I think if you're an American fan, particularly a new one, you are going to look at that so differently than your hardcore soccer fans, particularly like the Europeans or the South Americans, who'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, once a guy's got the red, you can't go in like some smoke-filled closed-door room and get that red rescinded. So it was pretty interesting. Like that was probably one of the more interesting moments, if not the most interesting moments of the World Cup because it went beyond just soccer. You know what I mean? That got into like the different how countries look at it and like different soccer cultures. And America's a young soccer culture compared to where Thierry Henry is from, right? France. Very old soccer culture.
No, the whole thing has been fascinating. It has added a level to this World Cup that we did not anticipate would enter in. Richard Deitsch, Sports Media Podcast, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Based on the ratings and all of everything that has gone on, the 2030 World Cup does not have a television broadcaster in the United States. What do you think? They're talking about $1 billion for the rights for what, a month and a half, a little bit less than a month and a half of soccer. What do you forecast for that? Who's really going to dig in on that?
Yeah, probably someone's going to have one of these countries is going to give Infantino a building as opposed to just an apartment in a Trump Tower office. I think that listen, Fox, FIFA gave Fox the sweetheart deal of all sweetheart deals on this one. It would take too long to sort of explain why, but you can Google it and sort of see all the machinations when it came to this. They're going to want to collect big money in North America for the next one, particularly on this viewership. I think the big question, honestly, again, the cynic in me comes out. FIFA's going to go to the place that gives the most money.
Right.
They don't. The idea that somehow they want to give great stewards of the sport, the World Cup is BS because ESPN put on a phenomenal broadcast for their World Cups and they still went to Fox. So that's all BS, and I would never believe FIFA. So it really comes down to this. It comes down to the streamers and how much a place like Netflix in particular would really go for the World Cup, and would that fit into their programming plans versus one of the like traditional legacy outlets like NBC, Comcast, or Fox or Disney getting back into it. If I had to guess today, I'm going to guess a streamer gets it. And I would think Netflix and possibly YouTube. I mean, I wouldn't discount them. But that sort of seems to me, if you're FIFA and you're trying to sort of think about this into the 2030s, it would make sense to me to put that on a streamer if you believe that's where the North American market is going in terms of how people consume their entertainment. And then the last thing I would just say is Netflix is already doing the Women's World Cup. They have the 2027 World Cup and they have the 2031 World Cup. They have taken that over from Fox. So pay attention to how Netflix does it next year. And if they throw a lot of investment into it and go all in and it's a success, I think those guys who have endless amounts of money are going to be let's just go for it and turn ourselves into the ultimate World Cup experience as far as the American public knowing where you'd go for this product.
All right, final thing for Richard Deitsch, and this is from your latest episode where you have Gino Auriemma. He's been outspoken about Caitlin Clark not being physically made for the WNBA. Where do you stand on how this has been covered? I feel like it's been more of a social media covered element to the league than it's been covered by necessarily ESPN, although I know they have talked about it on their screaming shows. But what's your read on how this has been received, how we're coming out of it?
Adam, you're one of those guys who's like, We got 30 seconds left. Tell me your opinion.
We
on
got
NATO.
plenty of. I got plenty of time. It's our last question.
And the guest is like,
No. Go as long as you want.
You could literally do. You could do 3 hours on Caitlin Clark, right? I mean, the thing I would say about Caitlin Clark, and again, as someone who covered women's basketball back in the day before the Clark explosion hit, Caitlin Clark has essentially become the avatar of what you want her to be, independent of what she is and what she has said, right? So you see her through the prism, I think, in many ways, and a lot of times, of kind of how you see politics and how you see that league in particular. Like Oriema said something, he's really went long. I can't, he gave me like a 5-minute answer on Caitlin Clark. I didn't expect him to go that long. And what he said that really stood out in terms of like a tagline was that, every Caitlin Clark foul is not a referendum on America, which I thought was just like pretty interesting. And then he went into sort of the whys he said that. Now, he absolutely said that she has been targeted. There are people in the league who take cheap shots on her. There are people in the league who want to kick her ass. But his point was that, like, everything about this is not a political conversation. Like, he's like, sometimes hard foul's a foul. Sometimes the number one pick, like, they target because they know that's a great player. To me, like, I think she's been incredible for that league. The viewership numbers that she had when she was at Iowa in college, she brought some of that to the WNBA. There's no other person who would have been able to do that. And I say that as someone who's got all the respect in the world for the Asia Wilsons and the Breanna Stewarts and people like that. And they have grown the league, but no one could have provided the catalyst other than her. So what I think you have to do if you're the league, and this is where they've really screwed up, is their officiating is not good. It's just not up to the standard and the athleticism of the players. They need to improve that, and they need to improve that fast. And then they need to, like, really, particularly on Clark games, like, they need to police that stuff. Because if there are some players who are trying to make a reputation targeting her, you call that out quick. Trust me, somebody gets a 4 or 5 game suspension, that's never happening again. And that's where I think the WNBA has fallen behind. And then the last one I would just say is I think the commissioner, who's done a great job in terms of getting, like, the business part of the product set and television deals and all that, she's done a terrible job in terms of communication with the best players. And if you notice, and both of us are old enough to know this, the one genius of people like David Stern and Adam Silver, they always had a relationship, right, with the best players in the league. David Stern would talk to Jordan all the time. Adam Silver talks to LeBron all the time. Kathy Engelbert has not done that enough with her top star players. And I think the star players don't trust her the way I think the star players in other leagues trust their commissioner, at least in basketball. And whether she still can do that, I don't know. But if I was her consigliere and I was telling her, like, that would be job one for her. She's got to start communicating better with these top players and hear what they have to say about the game.
Well, I still have Tom Hagen here quickly before we have to say goodbye.
Good reference. Good reference.
Thank you very much. Look, Godfather clips are all over social media. You can't get away from it, and I'm hooked. As soon as one starts, I have to go all the way to the end. There's a Tiger Woods element to what Caitlin Clark has brought to the WNBA that I don't think enough players have grasped. And it's not that she's not the best player. Asia Wilson is the best player. It's frankly not even close. You can probably build a Walmart in between where Asia Wilson is and where Caitlin Clark is, or whoever the second best player is. But the reason people are tuning in at the numbers is because of the Caitlin Clark fascination. They drew more people in Indiana for Fever games than several NBA games. Several NBA teams averaged over the course of the season. There were franchises that moved their home games to NBA arenas because they knew they could sell those tickets. And that's about Caitlin Clark. It's really not about any other player. And until the players get over, some players, not all, but until some of the players get over the jealousy factor and accept that she is doing well for them, I think we're going to have these things pop up all over the place.
It's a good point. I do think, like, inevitably, I think as Caitlin Clark gets older into her mid-20s, I do think that'll change. She'll be established more in the league, and I think some of that stuff gets mitigated. Again, like, I mean, I was young, but I do remember, like, the treatment that Jordan got with the Pistons, like most of that was on the court.
Yeah.
Like obviously I don't remember people like sort of bashing Jordan about his commercialism, but like there is a little bit of, you sort of have to, I don't want to say prove yourself, but you have to go through some of these conflicts in order to get to the other side. But I don't disagree with you, and I do think the league, you know what, like I always say this, and like sometimes sometimes fans of certain players, like they'll lose their mind, but like saying that like Caitlin Clark is responsible for like more attention or more viewers does not take away from the greatness of Asia Wilson or Brianna Stewart or Kelsey Plum. Like those two things can live together. And sometimes, especially in that league, but maybe in every league, a fan base of a certain player takes sort of, umbrage to that. But both things can be true. And by the way, just use your head. Caitlin Clark can't play against herself, right? Like you do need other players for her to do that, Angel Reese and everyone else. So it's not just Caitlin, but I'm with you on that. Like some of the sort of stuff on the court is just ridiculous, and that's where I think the league's got to get a hold of it. And then for her, I would say on Caitlin's part, forget about the health, and obviously I wish her health and I hope she stays. I think she does have to maybe dial back a little bit of the sort of going after the officials, you know what I'm saying, every time. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be to her benefit. The great players don't complain about every foul, let's put it that way, because they're trying to work the refs. And I think if you're her, I think you're gonna get more calls if you don't sort of publicly embarrass the refs. Like it shouldn't be that way, but that's just the reality of it. You look at baseball, like I do feel like the managers who don't, shoot out there and embarrass the ump, they may get a call or two like down the road in that game. And I think if I was Caitlin, that's what I would work. I'd kind of work the corners a little bit more quietly, but obviously that's just me from the cheap seats, like making that call.
At Richard Deitsch on Twitter, Sports Media Podcast, a must. I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much. I will talk to you down the road.
All right. Take the mic. Leave the cannolis out.
Very nice. Richard Deitsch here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, quick break. When we come back, a couple of things we haven't yet gotten to. I did mention the, FIFA had a statement, and I did reference that the IOC has weighed in today, and I'm not going to really address anything political or international in terms of news. I am going to point out that there is something about the IOC and FIFA that is identical, and I think we should all recognize it. Next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It's the world's biggest soccer tournament. The trophy that they will hand out in July actually isn't a cup. It's not shaped like a cup, but it feels like a cup, although maybe you can't drink out of it. Anyway, FanDuel's got this great idea. It's called FanDuel Super Sub because it's hot and players do not play in general. Not a lot of players play the full 120 minutes if we go extra time. So if your guy gets subbed out, your wager stays on with the guy who comes in for him. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. It's a super idea. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Hey, for instance, France has a guy. He comes off the field. They bring a guy on. That guy's great. He scores. But if you had the other guy, you could still win. FanDuel Super Sub. Super. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
There was a time when speed wasn't a sport, it was survival. The hills of Wilkes County made outlaws. Only one rule: don't get caught. That's one thing that hasn't changed. This July, short track chaos and nowhere to hide. Only now, it's a points race. Be there when it matters. The Window World 450, July 19th at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Get tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The extra help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Electricity. It's what powers our lives, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Across North Carolina, 26 electric cooperatives serve 2.8 million people, and we are committed to delivering reliable, affordable power. We're not for profit and are driven by service, providing the best possible value for our member owners. We're strengthening the people and communities that make our state great, today and for generations to come. Learn more at ncelectriccooperatives.com.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCHA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
This is Adam Gold.
Well, if I'm watching the Panthers game and it's going real bad, many times it does.
I punish them by not watching
I'm
them.
a disappointed mother.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I realize it's not going to change the game, but it makes me feel better. And,
There were other factors at play there, but for the most part, I punish them. I will not watch you.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Heavy topic, but I'm not going to handle the heaviness of it. I'm just going to handle the sporting part of it. The International Olympic Committee has lifted the suspension of the Russian Olympic Committee when it pertains to athletes competing under the Russian flag at the Olympic Games. They've lifted that. It's been in place since 2023 for obvious reasons. Now, we could debate all day long whether or not it should have been in place for those reasons. I always thought, I keep getting told by people, politics and sports they should be separate. Never mind that it's impossible. Every day proves it, but again, set that aside. But it should be, in these cases, we should be suspending the political elements in the world because it is, to borrow from a movie, it's a magical celebration. It's not necessarily to make friends, but you understand where I'm going. Try Wizard Tournament. So for the last Olympic Committee, Russia was not even allowed to participate as a nation. I think there were certain athletes who competed under no flag or just the Olympic flag. There's another issue about that in the rearview mirror we'll get to in a sec. But ultimately, the reasoning the IOC gave, this is why I clowned it today. The reasoning they gave was that the Russian Olympic Committee no longer has regional sports organizations in territories under the jurisdiction of Ukraine. That was all it took. Never mind, the war still exists. That's all it took. We could sit here all day and debate the geopolitics of it. My point is that if you banned them because of the invasion, well, the conflict is still ongoing. How with a straight face do you say, no, it's good, when the war is still going? How do you do that? And again, I would argue that they probably should have never banned them in the first place. But they did. And yes, there are many other countries, people would argue, including our own, that have done bad things around the globe, and they should also be banned. I'm not arguing that Russia should be banned. Right? It would have been great if Russia had a hockey team in the Olympics. I actually talked to Andrei Svechnikov after the Olympics were over and the Hurricanes, were back getting ready to play, and I talked to Andrei casually in locker room when we were talking about Slavin wins a gold and Jarvis played for a gold medal, won a silver, Aho won a bronze, and he was looking at the medals, and I'm like, next time you guys are back. And he goes, oh, I don't know. Like I said to him, I'll bet you guys have a team in 4 years. I said that to him because I do believe it will happen. And that to me is just sports. The only reason why a ban was probably effective to an extent, if it was because of how much it matters to their president. It's the only reason why it might have been, and I don't know that it did. It certainly didn't work. It didn't stop the war. So, but it does matter to their president. There is great national pride in their athletes, and it obviously was ineffective. And maybe that's the best reason to end it. But they could have given a different reason of ending it. And again, they could have just said, "Yeah, this did not work." So, rather than punish their athletes, which it has been a punishment, rather than punish their athletes, we allow them back in. If you notice, if you watch Wimbledon, athletes who play for Russia or I think Belarus, they don't get their flags. Everybody else gets a flag. They don't get their flags. Real quick, Russia was banned from the Olympics for doping. Remember the whole doping scandal? Yep. And this is where we get back to the IOC clearly is a corrupt organization, much like FIFA is. I would argue that the IOC is worse than FIFA, is that Russia had a state-organized doping plan, and the IOC punished them for it, except they allowed all of their athletes to play, so they really weren't punished. Like, all they did was take their anthem away. They took their flag away, but they didn't take the athletes away. Yes, if you tested positive, then you were out. They've just done such a terrible job of policing these types of things. The stuff that matters to sport, they've done a terrible job, but it's clearly that the IOC, much like FIFA, is bought and paid for. And that's the argument against the IOC. FIFA released a statement today. They put it was from the that disciplinary committee that declared Flo Balogun's red card, the suspension, to be suspended. So they gave him a 1-year probation as opposed to a 1-match ban. Again, I'm not going to spend any great length of time on this. But I read through the statement, and the statement was, for me, hysterical in that it said nothing, it was word salad, and it kept repeating itself. Literally, it was, I didn't count them, but I saw somebody else who did. It was 870 words. They could have used 100 and said exactly the same thing. What I didn't realize was that they found Balogun in violation of 2 other rules. And all they was after the match was over against Bosnia, the one he was sent off on, he came back onto the field to celebrate with his team. And that's against the rules. If you've been sent off, you are not allowed back onto the field at any point. And so they cited this, and with those violations also came a match ban. So if we're keeping score, regardless of whether or not the red card that he received was a terrible call, and we all agree it was, he still got it. He was supposed to serve a 1-match ban beyond the rest of the match that he missed. And there was a match ban for the rules violations he committed after the match. And FIFA, not only did they suspend the new violations, they suspended both. So he committed more violations that they found, and they decided, it's okay, you can still play. I said this yesterday, the day before. The worst part about this for me was that they turned Balogun into a villain. Whether or not he was, that's what they did. He became the face of American soccer because he was allowed to play. He didn't deserve that. If you saw him after the Bosnia match, when he knew that he was going to miss a match, he could not have handled it better. He could not have. Ultimately, what FIFA did flipped the entire narrative around U.S. soccer. They were fun. They were exciting. They were galvanizing a country. And then all of a sudden, they had the target on their back. That was the worst part about all of this. This is not, by the way, I know I've been accused of this. This is not because of the president. It's because of FIFA. FIFA didn't have to do what they did. In fact, it's a rule that if governments get involved, that association, in other words, USA Soccer or U.S. Soccer, can be banished from future events. So maybe USA Soccer, again, if this will not happen, maybe USA Soccer should be banned from the next World Cup. How would that play? Now, they'll never do it, but it's part of the rules, which they clearly don't care to follow. That's it. That's it. It was not against what happened as much as how it happened. And by the way, with talking with Richard Deitsch about Thierry Henry and Alexi Lalas, that's available online. It is worth watching because you get to see the two ends of the argument. And I know there are people who firmly believe that a right was done by allowing him to play, and that's fine. That's fine. I will respect. I don't agree with it, but I respect the decision because no doubt he should have never been given a red card. 100%. But Thierry Henry versus Alexi Lalas was box office television, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic sitting back and watching this tennis match was awesome. Absolutely awesome TV. And I'll watch it again. All right, do we have time for? No, we don't really have time for a rewind. All right, so we'll close on the Hurricanes and something that I heard from Elliot Friedman in the latest 32 Thoughts, the podcast. It's actually the last one, I guess, until they have to do one when something earth-shattering happens. And it dealt with just items from every team, so it's over a 4-hour episode. Amazing. I couldn't do that. So when they got to the Hurricanes portion, which is about 40 minutes in if you want to go listen to it, Elliot Friedman mentions that he has been hearing that Carolina is involved potentially in still an offer sheet situation. And he brought up the name Simon Edvinson, who is a left-shot defenseman, 23 years old, plays for the Red Wings, and he's a very good player with a great future. He's 6'6". He is incredibly Swedish, which is fine. And what I couldn't understand as I'm listening to this, because Elliott's talking about signing him, but also signing him to trade him. There is a rule that if you sign a player to an offer sheet and you get that player, you can trade him, but the team that matches his contract, so in this case the Red Wings, they cannot. And I think it's for a period of 1 year. So if Anaheim were to match the $18 million annual contract to Leo Carlsson, they can't trade him. But Philadelphia, if they get the player, not that they would do this, they are well within their rights to trade that player. And that is wild to me. That is a loophole of a rule if I have ever heard one. Anyway, I couldn't understand why the Hurricanes would offer sheet a left-shot defenseman who's a restricted free agent when they have a left-shot defenseman. And I don't know that Simon Edvinson is that much more of a prospect or at all than Alexander Nikishin. So why would they do that? Not to mention the fact that you would have to overpay for Simon Edvinson, and the Hurricanes are not really an overpay kind of a team. If you really want the player, you probably have to overpay to a certain extent, or you have to find a team that can't even overpay a little. That's by the way, what happened when the Hurricanes got Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Montreal couldn't afford to even go to $6 million for 1 year. That's why Carolina got Kotkaniemi. We'll see what happens. NFL, we're going to talk NFL tomorrow. And the World Cup is back, but we're going to talk National Football League stuff. Will Brinson's going to join us. Plus, other surprises. Victoria, thank you. See everybody tomorrow on The Adam Gold Show.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they've got a great thing for this incredible tournament that is now down to the quarterfinals. It's called FanDuel Super Sub. Basically says that if you wager on a player, part of a parlay or just an anytime goal scorer, and he comes off the field for whatever reason, the player who comes on for him simply assumes the role of your wager. That's good. It does not work with teams, however. So if you thought the USA was going to win, you don't get Belgium going forward. This is why we stick with players and not nations. FanDuel Super Sub, available to you throughout this great tournament, even though, again, the United States no longer involved. FanDuel.com/local, FanDuel.com/local. You're always in the game with FanDuel. 21 and over.